So let's start where College Game Day is headed, where I am headed as well. 7:30 Eastern, South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. This number has kind of been 3.5. It looks like kind of a battle there with a total of 55.5. Brad, what do your numbers say about this game, and is there a bet that you're looking to take in this game?
I like side and total. I'm going to start with the side. I like the Buckeyes here. I don't like the interior on the offensive line for Notre Dame. Just the center guard just isn't up to snuff in my opinion. Got a little exposed against NC State, but got shooed away because Notre Dame won by 3 touchdowns. I also think Notre Dame's size up front and the defense or lack thereof will hurt them a little bit. And then I think one of the bigger mispricings, I think it's worth at least a point, is we're going to have a 50-50 crowd on Saturday night. So I think it's a deflator for the home team when you go out there and you see a 50-50 crowd in your home stadium. I think it's an energizer for the away team. And I've also seen this story before at Notre Dame Stadium. In fact, just ironically, it happened to be 4 teams with the school colors of red. Nebraska in 2000. Louisville in 2014, Georgia in 2017, Cincinnati in 2021. What happened in all 4 games? Notre Dame lost all 4 games when the opposing fan base had 20+ thousand fans in attendance. So let's go ahead and take the Buckeyes here. We'll lay the 3. I also like the under, though. I think Ohio State controls the line of scrimmage. I don't think Notre Dame's offense is going to have much success against a much improved Ohio State defense. So under the total as well.
Making me feel real great. Yeah. Awesome.
Best bet, Ohio State, too.
Ooh, the best bet of the week. Man.
I love you, Brad.
By the way, I just want to point this out, Brad.
I love you so much.
I just want to point this out.
Put the camera on me. Make this a 3-shot. I love you so much.
Why?
Yes, because I want Tim to feel pain this week. Trepidation about going to this game. Thanks, Brad.
Hey, can you do me a favor, just real quickly, while we got the 3-shot? Can you tell Brad what your upset pick of the week was last week?
Yeah, I was going to apologize at some point during this. Yeah, I made a huge mistake.
But tell
Mississippi State?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Terrible. And it was Brad's best bet.
Yeah, so I haven't bet this game. I kind of feel the similar.
But I wasn't emotionally involved, and that just was a ticket that didn't cash. I cashed most of the others.
Isn't Marcus Freeman your friend?
He is.
Yeah, okay. Appreciate that. Yeah.
I didn't say I agree with Brad. I just said thank you, Brad, for picking the Buckeyes, making it your best bet. Now I can antagonize Tim the rest of the week.
Hey.
All right, let's get to the rest of his plays because he has really good opinions.
Let's get to the noon Eastern window. We got Clemson and Florida State. This is really interesting because I got to imagine everybody and their mother is going to be racing to lay the under field goal spot here with Florida State. Clemson at home. You gave me the insight earlier this week that the last time Clemson was a home dog was the Lamar Jackson game in 2016. Clemson won that game. Anything you like in this spot with Clemson catching a couple points at home against Florida State?
At the current number, 2.5, I mean, I lean Clemson, but let's go ahead and wait and see if we can get that all-important 3. We've seen some early money on Florida State early in this week. Look-ahead line was 3.5 on Florida State. Obviously got to downgrade them for what happened in Boston last Saturday. A game that they easily could have lost outright as a big favorite. Jordan Travis is the 100%. With that being said, I'm not wowed by this Clemson team. I mean, the last 2 weeks, yeah, they've won and covered as a big favorite, but I mean, against a couple of tomato cans. So we'll find out. I'd prefer it to be a night game instead of a noon start time as far as the atmosphere. So just a lean right now at plus 2.5, but it becomes a bet at plus 3.
Brad Powers joining us at Brad Powers 7 on Twitter. Colorado 3-0, still in the top 20, but they will be without Travis Hunter, which is a massive loss for them. And Oregon 3-0 and 3-0 ATS, much to my chagrin with that cover against Texas Tech. This number has been on the move, Brad. It is, I think I saw some lines on Saturday at 16.5. It is now up to 21 pretty much across the board. Can Colorado, they've been a 21-point dog already once this year against TCU. Can they keep the magic rolling?
No. Oregon would be the bet here. Obviously, you could have gotten better numbers, but I still would bet Oregon at 21. This, to me, just feels like a 4 or 5 touchdown Oregon win here, where Colorado finally gets exposed. It's been a great story. Deion's been great for college football, but there's been some fortunate final scores in the first 3 weeks of the season. You start diving deep, into this team. It is a flawed team, but it should be a flawed team. I mean, they only won one game last year. So kudos for them to getting to 3 wins already. But it's going to be, if you're a Colorado fan or a Deion fan, it's going to be a rough couple of weeks here, the next 2 weeks against Oregon and USC, because I think both Oregon and USC blow them out.
I got a question for you. Not necessarily saying I disagree. I don't know what the defense looks like without Travis Hunter. But would you say that for the first 3 weeks, the bookmakers have been completely wrong on this Colorado team? I know this is a new situation with all of the turnover on the roster, but 3-touchdown underdog in week 1. Colorado wins outright, come back only a 3-point favorite in week 2. They blow out Nebraska, make them a 24-point favorite in week 3. They have to go to overtime to win the game. Like, the market's been so wrong on this Colorado team.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's tough getting a handle on a team that's basically entirely new. And it's just not a Colorado. The other team that's far exceeded expectations so far this year, Texas State. They're number 2 as far as a total different roster. Arizona State is 0-3 against the number, failing to cover by 20 points per game. They're almost an entire different roster. So, yeah, the transfer portal has created a lot of variance in the marketplace, a lot of mispricing. So you're right. Guys like, not just the market, guys like myself, I have not had a handle on this Colorado team. Hell, I bet on them last week because I thought there'd be, if they wanted to blow them out, they could. But obviously that wasn't the case by any stretch. They probably should have lost. So, look, I'm pretty confident in Oregon, but the first 3 weeks, it leaves a little bit of doubt in my mind. But I just think it's a really bad matchup for Colorado. And then also, you got to argue whenever you got to think about this. Whenever there's a big favorite, what is the motivation for margin? I think Oregon has motivation for margin.
I want to get to something real quick. It's off the radar, but I know that you love to fire on these types of games. So we saw Colorado State, so much emotion in that game, some penalties, but they had some big play ability. I was high on Colorado State, still am after I saw what I saw last week. How tough is this spot for them traveling down to Murfreesboro to take on Middle Tennessee, Brad, after that emotional high last week?
Really tough. I bet Middle, even though I agree with your sentiments. Colorado State liked them preseason, hated what I saw against Washington State, but turns out Washington State's pretty good. And then I saw the weapons that I thought they had last week against Colorado. That being said, a horrific spot. Middle Tennessee blew them out last year. Colorado State has one of their key players suspended for the first half. We'll see if they suspend the safety or whatnot. I don't know how you can get back up across the country after that type of game late Saturday night. So Middle Tennessee for me, I bet it.
Well, let's talk about Washington State. We're talking to Brad Powers, college football handicapper. Best bet of the week, much to my chagrin. I actually don't disagree. Ohio State minus the 3. Another team that is a 3-point road favorite, Oregon State. You mentioned Washington State has looked apart. Nice win against Wisconsin week 2. Blew out Colorado State. Market moved against them, and they won by almost 4 touchdowns. Oregon State's kind of been workmanlike here so far. What do your numbers say about this game? And it's always tricky. Nighttime and Pullman, things can get a little wacky up there, Brad. What do you see in Oregon State, Washington State?
Yeah, yikes. 4 games and 4 favorites. But I'm going to go with the short road favorite here, Oregon State. I just think they're buttoned up a little bit better at the line of scrimmage in Washington State. DJ's off kind of a subpar game. I think he bounces back for Oregon State. There's just not many weaknesses on this Beaver team. While I could talk about Washington State, their ground game leaves a little bit to be desired. So, and then the Wisconsin game, they just took advantage of 3 key critical Wisconsin turnovers. So I made it 4. Let's go ahead and lay 3 with Oregon State.
Quick thought, Alabama, Ole Miss, 7-point spread in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, tough game. I mean, again, bet the favorite, though. You got to bet your numbers. I like the move back to Milroe at quarterback. I'll put it that way. And it's funny. Could have told you so on Buckner. I mean, I can't believe Tommy didn't know that one. He's getting paid all that money and couldn't figure that one out.
You could have listened to you and I. You could have read our text messages, Brad. We knew. We also knew about Drew Pine, too. Hey, Brad, great stuff. I hate your pick, but I appreciate it as well.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
There he
Great
is.
stuff, Brad.
There he is, Brad Powers, at Brad Powers 7. Follow him on Twitter there.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.